In this video, I'm going to be talking about how to not have scary feet as a runner. Because if you just got into running or you've been running for a long time, you know that things like ingrown toenails or toenails falling off is just part of the process. It's just kind of a casualty that comes with putting in a lot of miles. So as I got back from my speed workout today, I was thinking there are so many things I wish someone would have told me when I first got into running. So that's what I'm going to go through with you guys today. So let's get right into it. You just got done with a run. You take off your shoes. And the first thing that I say to do as soon as you take your shoes off is to sprinkle a little bit of baking soda in your shoes, just a little tiny bit, because that'll absorb the moisture and any smells or anything like foul. So I like to just sprinkle a little bit of baking soda in the shoes that I just wore. And then sometimes I'll even stick them outside so they can get like fresh air. That kind of preserves the shoe for me. One thing I will say is that every now and then I throw my shoes in the washing machine, but you're never supposed to put your shoes in the dryer because that will kind of like degrade the foam, even though they do make drying racks for shoes where you can stick them in the dryer and they just sit there while the dryer runs. I've been told that actually wears your shoes out faster and to just let them air dry. So once you've taken off your shoes and your damp socks, which you want to do pretty much as soon as you get home, just to avoid any like fungus from growing, something that I like to do is check out my toes and see what's going on, because I can often feel when a toenail is starting to get kind of like janky. And there is a game-changing tool that will help you so much. This is something that I got a few months ago that it has just been night and day with dealing with ingrown toenails or any toenail that starts to feel like it's not quite smooth and flat and perfect. And that is to get one of these Dremel tools. And this is it's a manicure tool that I ordered on Amazon. It was like, I don't know, $30. And the thing about this is that it has a tip, kind of like a little Dremel machine that basically spins really fast and is coarse. And you basically can go over the top of the nails. Any nail that starts to get kind of like jagged or weird from like whatever's happening with your socks rubbing against the shoes. And so what I'll do is I'll sit here and just go over each nail that seems not good and just like file it down so that it can get as like smooth on the surface as possible. And yeah, this has been a game changer. And the cool thing is that this one has a bunch of different heads on it. So this is like very detailed, this little tiny one. But then you can also stick a different tool head. Like this one is like a sandpaper. And so you could basically just like do very, very like minimal on the edges of your toenails. Anywhere that there might be some kind of like a thing that's jagged, it's everything. So I think that this tool is pretty much the savior for making your feet look somewhat bearable. And I also like it because I used to feel like I needed to use dark toenail polish to cover any bruises or anything that like was noticeably darkened on my toenails from like places where they looked like they were about to fall off. But I actually feel like I don't need to rely on nail polish as much because I can just like file the nail very, very, very thin, and I can get away with it being more natural and less noticeable when there's like a darkened colored part of the nail. So the thing I'll do after that, if I file down my nail beds on my toes, which is a little bit of a process, but I really like to be thorough and like get every little part of the nail, the cuticle, and then I'll actually spray with the spray hydrogen peroxide. I'll spray my toenail beds with this. And that's like if there's any little cuts or anything, it's an antiseptic. So that's just something that I do. And then I'll rinse that off with water. And I'll go over the areas that had any like issues with tea tree oil, which is antifungal. And this is also kind of nice because it keeps your feet smelling good. Like you don't ever notice your feet starting to smell. And that's because it just kills bacteria and fungal stuff and whatever. So this is kind of a preventative measure for me. But I will say that if you are somebody who has toenail fungus, and this is very, very common with runners, that something that you could do And if you didn't want to take an oral antifungal medication, which can be kind of hard on the liver from what I've heard, you can break open oil of oregano tablets like this. They come in like little clear tablets. Break it open, or you can just use the oil of oregano that just comes in liquid form, and open it up and squeeze it onto the parts of the nail that have a fungal infection. And oil of oregano is a very, very, very powerful antifungal oil. And so that's pretty cool that you can just kind of use this as like a way to like maintain or treat toenail fungus. So that's the same thing with tea tree oil, but this can also be used on the area between the toes and stuff. And yeah, those are the things that I do. So like basically between sprinkling baking soda in my shoes, filing down my nails, putting tea tree oil on my feet, those are just little things that like really make a big difference, especially if you want your feet to be cute and like stay like kind of normal. Because I feel like even when I was still modeling, as I was getting into running, I was so self-conscious about my feet because running just takes a big toll on your feet. So I hope that this video helped you and that your feet are gonna feel really happy and fresh after you incorporate some of these routines into your post-run ritual. And yeah, until next time, just be fast, just win.